cause this is Sports Life Talk.
Hey, hey.
Rock it with Sports Life Talk. Hot topics with Sports Life Talk. So come and get you some Sports Life Talk. They let us in the game, now we calling the shots. Things will never be the same, so forget what you thought. Cause life without sports ain't nothing but talk. Here we go now, finally a show that makes your heart pound. Profound, wonder what's running up through your thoughts now. About to drown all podcasts that be watered down. Tell them clowns it's a new era, and it's starting now. 5 total strangers, the 5 Power Rangers, approaching Sports Life Talk from 5 different angles. Get ready for the change up. We done turned the flame up. The topics that we bring up, we about to blow this thing up. Yeah, let's get it cracking. KT the head coach and Miss Manhattan. Gemini Jones holds the throne, she be calling them out. Mr. United Surgeon B. Jones, the mouth of the South. From the cover athletes to the heat of the week, we got what you need. We dropping what's hot in the streets, from copping new sneaks to locals popping, doing big things. When gossip and tea, like Kimberly, pour you a dream. Sports Life Talk, who is them? Went from not listening and now you're tuning in. If you're feeling what you're hearing, tell a friend, tell a friend. Thank you for listening, let the show begin. Sports Life Talk, who is them? Went from not listening and now you're tuning in. If you're feeling what you're hearing, tell a friend, tell a friend. Thank you for listening, now let the show begin. Let's go.
Hey, SLT Nation, we are back in the building. It is 2021. This is our second episode. But before you get too excited, tonight is going to be what we call the Man Cave edition. All right, so you can make all the rowdy noises you want. You can fart, walk around in your boxers, do whatever you want to do, because it's a man's takeover tonight. And yes, we did this intentionally. It is a very, very, very big day for sports. So we're going to give a little something to you ladies, some sports gossip. But for the main part, we got to really unpack a lot of sports topics. So with me today, I got the intellectual surgeon, the hat to the back at it like a crack addict, Mr. United. How you feeling, Serge?
I'm feeling good, man. How are you guys feeling tonight?
I'm doing good. I know you got a lot you want to talk about, so we gonna get to it.
Salivating, man.
That's right. Ed Reed, you changed the name. I see you, fam. How you feeling, man? KT, the head coach.
Hey, man, I feel great. You know what? I feel so good that Pam isn't here. Somebody just hold me down and just bring all the negativity out of me. So not having her on tonight, it's gonna be a fire show.
Hey, but you know what? No, But Pam did not take PTO. She was told specifically that, hey, tonight we are going to talk guys talk. So she said, you know what, I'm going to let y'all have it. I'm pretty sure she's out there rocking with us in the comments section along with the lovely.
Her and KD.
The lovely KD. So we already miss y'all. So hopefully we can do y'all justice. And of course, you know who I am. I'm your boy, the mouth of the South. Before we get started, let's pay some bills. Do us a favor. Tell a friend to tell a friend. We need your help. Let's go out, like, follow, share. Let's start this movement. Let's take over everything on this side of the Mississippi. You heard me? Let's get into it. So tonight we celebrate the life and times of Eddie Robinson, Hall of Fame coach. This episode is very special to me as far as Eddie Robinson. If you come from the state of Louisiana, you know how much he means to the state, just football in general. But episode 77 is titled Nothing But a G Thang. KT, talk a little bit about Eddie Robinson. School these folks for you, man.
The one thing you didn't say in the intro, you didn't mention legend. So it's the legend.
Do I need to do it again? Do I need to do tonight? No. We talk. Okay, all right. I'm ready.
I got your back on it. When you fall short, guess what? I got you for one night only. All right, so we got the legend Eddie G Robertson for the legendary Grambling State University football coach Eddie G Robertson. Football has always been the driving force, motivating one of the most successful men to ever set foot on the football field. During a period in college football history when black players were not allowed to play for Southern college programs, Robinson built Grambling State into a small college football powerhouse. Coach Robinson spent 57 seasons consistently fielding stellar football teams and guiding his players to successful lives both on and off the gridiron. He earned an unprecedented 408 college football victories to set the NCAA benchmark for wins in the Division I. Robinson coached every single game from the field, and he was inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame in 1997. Robinson is arguably the most successful college football coach in FCS history and has the third most victories in college football history.
Man.
Man.
That's my guy. That's my guy. And we're going to move right along here. So I'm going to go ahead and throw the trivia out. It's very simple. If you want to play with us, have a good time with us, go to our website, sportslifetalk.com. Be the first one to answer this question correctly, and you will win a T-shirt to look and dress like the crew. Now, if like I said, if you're from Louisiana, Grambling is a small city down the road. It's really a college town, just like you would say Tuscaloosa and Baton Rouge or some of these other cities. But Grambling has the university right there on the campus, so it's holla, it's hype. We used to go holla at the girls on Grambling campus. Used to be a good time. But if you know anything about Grambling, you know that Hall of Fame quarterback Doug Williams was the first African American to win the Super Bowl as a starting quarterback. But after doing some research, I found out that is not the first historic quarterback that Eddie Robinson has. So for money, all right, for the shirt, I want the fans to tell me, give me the name of the other black African-American quarterback that Eddie Robinson coached and the importance of what made him, what was so great about that individual quarterback. All right. So what was the other first black quarterback that Eddie Robinson had, and give me the importance and the significance of that player. All right. So let's go ahead. Kevin, do we got an athlete we want to honor this week?
You know what? KD owes me some of her paycheck because I had to do her read, and now I have to go and do my own thing. So I really don't appreciate the KD, but I love you, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. So I'm going to switch it up today. Well, I got to find it. Okay. For the first time in his career, Todd Dodge will coach against his son, Riley, and this will come with some bragging rights. Todd Dodge coaches for Westlake, and his son, Riley, he's the head coach at Southlake. And they meet in the 6A D1 championship at Jerry World Saturday at 7 p.m. Elizabeth Dodge, the mother/wife, said either way she wins. So my question to you two guys is, would you want your son to beat you at your own game?
Absolutely. I think that's that lets you know you did a good job, because if you set the bar right and you've raised him up through this time portal over 18, 25, 30 years or whatever it takes for him to come and beat you, let you know that, hey, not only can he surpass me, but I think that's the goal of any father, to want to give his son something that he can be the best at and can go on and be better than him. I mean, I do that with my daughter. I just want her to be better than me, whatever it is. If she want to do a podcast, be better than me at doing the podcast, and I give her whatever tools and I can to help her to be better than me. So
I will say this: Thanksgiving dinner, hey, it ain't gonna be the same. Don't come this Thanksgiving. If you beat me, we'll reconvene during Christmas. With Thanksgiving, nah, I don't want to see you. But I'm joking now.
It was a female college coach. His daughter coached another team. I think it was like West Point or something like that. I don't know why I didn't think to look over that article more. But at the end of the game, he didn't even go shake her hand. He just waved his hand at her and she blew him a kiss. It was kind of hilarious. But her daughter beat the father not too long ago as well. So, all right, man. So, Kev, we're gonna do this toast. I don't have the drink. The ladies normally provide the drink. This is what I will do though, because I know Kim took a lot of preparation to come up with this drink. I will let the ladies out there know who is rocking with us tonight that we are. The drink of the week is the sparkling gin and juice. The recipe is very simple. It's 2 ounces of gin, 2 ounces of cranberry juice, 1 ounce of simple syrup, 3/4 ounce of fresh lime juice, 1 1/2 ounce of prosecco. Or any sparkling wine, and then to kiss that thing off, you got to give it the chef's kiss and a lime for garnishment. All right. So, and Kim wanted us to give a toast tonight as we open up the show. Y'all got y'all drinks? Kev, you got a drink? Serge, you got some water? All right. There it is. There it is. So tonight we are taking a drink to Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens for beating the Tennessee Titans for his first playoff win. He is now 1 week away from getting the playoff monkey off his back. And for that, Lamar Jackson, you deserve a toast. All right. Now, all right, fellas. What a week of sports already, and it is only Wednesday, okay? So let's kick this thing off with a question. We talked about Hall of Fame coach Eddie Robinson, and we're talking about some of the greatest coaches of all time. We would be remiss if we did not mention Bill Belichick. And recently he made headlines because he turned down the Presidential Medal of Freedom Award given to him by our current president. His reasoning behind this is due to the recent riots. He felt that took place on January the 6th. It was not a good look, and it was not the right direction for him to go in. So let's kick it off. KT, would you have accepted the award?
First of all, it's a bad sign when Bill Belichick is like, man, this is way too much cheating for me. I mean, Bill Belichick has a better understanding of our country and democracy than our elected officials. So he totally made the right decision. It's a bad look, and we know that he probably would have done that not everything that happened at the Capitol, because him and 45, they're boys, along with Kraft. So yeah, but he did the right thing though, because he had the discussion with his African American players. He know where they're coming from. So I'm proud of him for finally doing the right thing and not cheating.
Serge, what you say, man? What say you, my friend?
I'm in total agreement with what just KT said, and I think to also add to that, I think it was kind of understood why Bill Belichick was deserving of a Medal of Freedom this year, because it wasn't like anything happened in the year of 2019 or 2020 to really require for him to get a Medal of Freedom. And I think he was more being utilized as I don't want to say the word pawn, but he was used as a tool to kind of gain some positive vibe from, towards the president, because, hey, let me pick the, probably the GOAT coach from the New England Patriots, who's also a good friend, the likeliness of him turning it down. And if he takes it, then it's a good look for me. And I don't think he was expecting for Bill Belichick to turn it down, because, typically this time of the year, we're used to Bill Belichick, talking about, on to Seattle or on to whatever team that they're playing next. And we only hear from him about whatever playoff match that they're coming on. So for him to not to be in the playoffs and still be in the news this week in January is pretty remarkable. But I do agree with the stance that he took, and I think it's the right approach. Because I think he's looking at the bigger picture. Like the Medal of Freedom at the end of the day is just a piece of metal. Like, yeah, it means something valuable, but I also have to look at the bigger picture. And it's just this what's going on in this country is bigger than me. And I think he took the right stance on that.
And you said Bond. I mean, he's a patriot. Isn't that what they call the guy that stormed the Capitol?
Yeah, the patriot. Yeah.
It was well played, but Belichick didn't fall for it.
Well, I do want to say this. I'm going to disagree with both of y'all only to a certain percentage, all right? Both of what y'all said is 100% correct. But the fact of the matter is there were 5 other athletes that accepted the Medal of Freedom throughout the year. So this is not the first person that Trump is giving it out to. So I want to make that known. And
sure,
second of all, Bill Belichick doesn't do this for free. And he honestly, I think he deserves it. Now to your point, I don't know if he deserves it this year, right? I don't know of any highlight thing that he did as to why Trump chose him specifically this one time, 1 week before he's going to be out of office. Why did he choose Bill Belichick? I don't know. Maybe because he, like KT said, he is a patriot. But I think that when you're talking about somebody who's dedicated their life to the game of football and to be given an honor by a standing American president, whether you like the gentleman or not, it's equivalent to going to the White House after you win the Super Bowl or going to the White House after you win a championship. That's an honor that very few people could have. And you never know, the next Belichick could come up and not start knocking all his names out off of the record books, but he may not quite ever be able to get that that Presidential Medal of Freedom. So if I was Bill, I would have taken it. Well, you know what? I'm not. I can't even do it for television. I can't even do it for the Vine. I wouldn't have took it, but that's because I don't like it. But if Bill would have taken it, I would not have faulted Bill for taking that award, because you play to win the game, fellas. I mean, isn't that another trophy in this trophy case?
I guess I'm with you on that aspect of it. I'm glad and I like the fact of the stance that he took. but I wouldn't have condemned him if he did still choose to accept
I
it.
agree.
That's the award that he earned at the end of the day is the way I looked at it.
Because him not taking it was damn near yeet worthy. I will be honest. I had the person who got the yeet. This was a tit for tat because I thought that was big. Like you said, there was a lot of political pressure, and also let's just be real. After looking at Cam Newton, Patriots, a team that didn't make the playoffs, Bill Belichick could be less than 5 years removed from his position. Let's just be real. If he don't turn that thing around within the next 2 seasons, I mean you brought us those rings. That's yesteryear. He needs a Hall of Fame quarterback like tomorrow.
Yeah, but one part that y'all are missing, if he would have accepted this award, this medal from 45, he would have lost his locker room. After talking to his team, they sat down and had discussions about everything that was going on. That would have been the first thing he could have done. He would have lost his locker room.
Now I agree with you on that too, Kevin. We've seen other coaches like Oklahoma State, Gundy. He was having some issues with making some comments, and he lost the locker room for a while. Yeah, even Coach Orgeron made a comment saying that he enjoyed his time at the White House, and that kind of caused a tiff in LSU's locker room for a moment, in which some say that's the reason why we had so many people sitting out. So definitely this is at one of those political times where you got to be smart about how you go about things, and I'm with you, Kevin. If it would have cost me relationships or cost me the opportunity to get my team back on track, then I wouldn't have accepted it either. So, all right. Another Hall of Fame coach. Monday night, we saw Nick Saban make his historic run for a 7th college football title, surpassing the legendary Bear Bryant. But it was a very big night for the Alabama Crimson Tide. But what would have been a perfect night had a black cloud over it. Current NFL players, including MVP frontrunner Patrick Mahomes, all took to Twitter and social media to comment about how first-round potential draft pick Jalen Waddle, less than 10 weeks removed from a horrible ankle injury, was out there hobbling around trying to play in the game, and essentially that Alabama didn't even need him to play. Serge, should Waddle have been playing in this game? Bottom line.
Absolutely not. I don't really see the need for him to play because we've all seen so many guys who – because these guys obviously aren't getting paid to play, which is
at Alabama they are. At Alabama they are. But
so don't do that.
You know what I mean.
Florida and Alabama they are.
Yeah, of course. You know what I meant. But I think I have to take into consideration we've seen so many guys who Heisman guys or runner-up for Heisman or college players of the year, running back, wide receiver, quarterback. They go all the way to either the last game of the season, the championship game, or the BCS games, FBS games, or the bowl game, and they get injured, and that diminishes their draft stock. And for somebody who already had an injury previously, and if you can tell that he was already hobbling on the sidelines, and for you to put him in the game when you don't even need him, you're so superiorly talented over every other team in college football. For you to put him in there to show what? To show scouts? No, people already know how good he is as it is when he was last time on the field. So I personally just didn't think it was a good look because they had everything. Like it was like, it's almost like, could you really imagine a season back to back where LSU and Alabama, the way that they play, were darn near perfect all the way through? Now, even in a pandemic year, they were able to go through everything and just be okay. So I didn't like that move at all. It was just a bad look.
Kev, you are a head coach, my friend. Where do you draw the line in protecting the player or giving this player that once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to play in a championship game? Because you and I both know coming tomorrow or sometime next week, Waddle will have a press release. He's going pro. And we also saw Nick Saban put in Landon Dickerson, who was not even 50%. He just went in and took some garbage time snaps at the end of the game so he could say I played in the championship game. So what are your thoughts on that, my friend? You were a coach. Tell us from a professional standpoint of view how you would have made that happen.
Okay, before I answer that, Serge, I want to say this. Having Waddle on the field, it does make a difference. It gives Ohio State something else to plan for. But to answer your question, I wouldn't have wanted him to play, but he got medical confirmation from the medical staff telling him, hey, if he goes out here, he won't injure it anymore. But as a coach, since you asked me as a coach, you got to protect the player from himself. If anything, have him go in there, throw him one little pass, and you get out. You got your national championship moment. We may have needed you, but old boy from Jodeci, Devontae, shoot, he held it down, so it was all good. So he shouldn't have played. He has too much to play for in the NFL, and it wasn't smart by Alabama.
Who do you blame? Who do you blame, Kevin? Do you blame Saban? Do you blame Waddle? Do you blame his family, or do you blame these medical practitioners?
No, if anything, Waddle should be praised because he's trying to go out there and play, and he knows he's not healthy. It falls on Saban. You got to protect the player from himself.
Correct. Because you know how it is when you're injured, but still maybe have a lingering injury. You know, you're trying to make sure you don't get re-injured, and you usually end up overcompensating for something else or another part of your body. So, yeah, he got medically cleared to where, like, hey, you're not going to injure this ankle anymore. But what if you injured the other ankle or you mess up your knee? You know, and so there's no way to 100% say that. And I think in hindsight, we can say, like, hey, he got out of there just fine. But, you know, if he did, I mean, we wouldn't even be talking about the fact that Alabama won. It would strictly be, hey, you know, Nick Saban, why did you have to put him out there? And all of the winning and everything just kind of gets lost in the shuffle. And I just think, you know, it's not even something you should be even taking a risk with.
Yeah, see, the NFL to me is too much of a meat market. It's really funny that Jerry Jones will sit up there and praise Ezekiel Elliott. Then all of a sudden, when it come down to negotiation time, you start hearing concerns about, well, you went out and partied, or well, you got in a car accident, and all of this stuff, and you got these injuries on you, and you missed so many games, and because the NFL,
you're really sticking out of your shirt.
Yeah, you're going to get every single excuse in the world that they can to limit your compensation, and that's the nature of the beast. That's what I mean. That's the power of negotiation. And when you have a player who has this type of potential and only get one shot, we saw Jalen Smith, your linebacker right now, Kevin, playing the final game at Notre Dame.
Hopefully,
he had to sit
game for the Cowboys too. But keep going.
But he had to sit out his rookie season as a Cowboy after being drafted, and Jalen Smith would have been easily a top 5 draft pick. Instead, he settled for a second-round draft pick, which changed his contract. It changed his guaranteed monies, the whole 9. But in the game where these NFL scouts are going to now be like, oh, that dude is damaged goods. We just saw him. Yeah, you got heart, but heart don't win football games. Heart helps you to win football games. It's a necessary component to winning football games, but you got to have speed. And that's what Jalen Waddle is, 100% pure burner. And he's out there at 60, 70%, clearly in pain. And this goes back to when we talked about Klay Thompson. Was it Klay or was it Kevin Durant who was given the clearance to play and then went out there literally one quarter later and tore his knee up, tore his Achilles up?
Yes.
It goes back to that. If these medical practitioners are saying this stuff, there needs to be some sort of accountability as to why. Because I'm going to tell you, the moment you got NFL players coming out and commenting, something is broken. Something is wrong. It wasn't Kevin on social media. This was Patrick Mahomes showing true concern. This was other wide receivers in the NFL coming out saying things that were showing true concern. So well, I'll leave this.
Hey, Joe, I want to say this though: when you got that dude from Jodeci out there killing, and he has jumped you in the draft, you want to go out there and prove yourself.
Who from Jodeci?
Devontae, man. Devontae.
Oh, hey, dude, I had the craziest argument about Devonta Smith. I'm not even going to take it to this episode, but I had somebody look me in my face, look me in my eyes, and tell me that Devonta Smith will be the first wide receiver taken come April. And y'all are nuts. That is what they call in sports recency bias. Go look at the 2019 film of Jamar Chase. Devonta Smith did himself perfect for coming back. He's not the number 1 wide receiver coming off the board in April. The kid is 175 pounds soaking wet.
Well, I agree that Jamar Chase is the truth. I agree. But did we see him play this season? So he kind of has it going against him. Everybody knows about him, man. We know he's smaller. But what we just saw, a receiver go out there and win the Heisman.
Yes, that's a big deal.
We could debate that later, but if you're a GM in the room and you got a choice to pick 215-pound Jamar Chase, who lit the world on fire, and this is the thing y'all got to remember about Jamar Chase. Let's not forget that he played alongside another first rounder,
And Jefferson, yeah.
and Jordan Jefferson, who went on to win Rookie of the Year. Jamar Chase, if eligible, would have been picked before Jordan Jefferson last year. So let's stop this. Hey, Devonta Smith is cold. Devonta Smith is cold. I give him that Calvin Ridley. I don't know, maybe Marvin Harrison comparison is a great comparison. He gonna be nice. The dude is gonna have a nice long career. But there's no way I pick with the third pick in the draft that I'm going to pick a 175-pound wide receiver over a thorough built, stocky wide receiver that has excellent route running skills, hands like no other, and is explosive. You can't cover Chase.
And I'm giving you your props. You know I don't like LSU whatsoever. But Chase is a baller. The boy from Jodeci won the Heisman.
Yeah.
So did Desmond Howard. Where did Desmond Howard go? Where did Michael Crabtree go? I know Crabtree didn't win the Heisman, but Crabtree won the Blitnikoff. Check this out. I bet you. I'm curious if any of our fans out there, because I know we got the world's greatest podcast fans in the world. If anybody can tell me who was the last top 5 wide receiver drafted. I don't know if what I'm thinking is correctly, but the name that came up in my mind, we just saw him get goose egged, or he ain't had a strong season at all. And that boy is thorough. That boy is nice. And can y'all guess it?
Is he Atlanta Falcon?
No, a Tennessee Titan, Corey Davis.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Think about that. And he was what, number 5th or 6th pick in the draft? And you don't pick wide receivers that early who light, man, who lighting ass. It ain't gonna happen.
You just wanted best to talk about
Chase.
All it was. You just want to talk about Chase. You ain't slick.
No, I did. I literally got into this debate. I actually got a free haircut coming my way. Hey, so let me ask y'all a question before we leave off of this headline and get into the fun headline that everybody's been waiting on. Serge, will Jalen Waddle be a first-round draft pick going forward?
Yes.
Kevin, will Jalen Waddle still be drafted in the first round?
Yes.
All right. Well, that's all. I don't know. I think it depends on how healthy he can get, because I think they're gonna want to see him
in the teens or the early 20s. That's just me. But
yeah.
Okay. All right.
Telling you, the Cowboys getting Surtain.
Cynthia Evans says yes, he will. All right, Cynthia. I'm hoping the kid goes first. I'm not a Bama fan. I'm anti-Bama. Go Tigers. But hey, the boy got juice.
Hey, Cynthia is a diehard Bama. Don't have Bama babies, because she's gonna come after you. I'm just throwing it out.
Hey, you know what? I'm gonna talk about Bama here in a second. I'm gonna make a Bama comparison here in a second that we can talk about.
Please don't.
All right. So we all know what the news. We all know the elephant in the room, Cynthia. No pun off of your Crimson Tide. All right. So we all know the elephant in the room today was absolutely epic. And what transpired around 3:30 to 4 o'clock p.m. has literally transformed the landscape of NBA 2021 season. We saw, you know what? I can't even track all the different moves that happened, but we saw a blockbuster trade of James Harden being moved out of Houston per his request. Let's make sure we notate it was per his request. James Softon was moved to the Brooklyn Nets, joining Rockefeller. All right, so let's talk about the fallout from this trade. Serge, before we go, I know you're an expert. You're a b-ball guru. Tell us everything that happened with this trade, who's where, and then we'll break down the fallout and the impact and implications.
So obviously, I think everybody's going to go look at the Brooklyn Nets side of things, because they obviously got the best player in the trade, which is James Harden, and that's the only thing that they received in the trade. Going out from the Nets in return is actually Karis LeVert, Jared Allen, and 4 first-round picks and 4 pick swap second-round picks.
Pick swap, yeah.
Picks are going to the Houston Rockets. The Houston Rockets then took Karis LeVert and converted him into Victor Oladipo. And so essentially Karis LeVert goes to the Indiana Pacers. The Brooklyn Nets also gave up Taurean Prince in the trade.
That's right.
Went along with Jared Allen to the Cleveland Cavaliers. And I think the Rockets also received another pick as part of the deal, which ends up being Milwaukee's unprotected pick. And then the Pacers also get a second draft pick. So Harden to the Nets, Jared Allen, Taurean Prince to the Cavs, Karis LeVert to the Pacers, and Victor Oladipo, and 8 picks to the Rockets is basically, in a nutshell, what the deal breaks down to.
All right, so let's talk about this thing strategically first. So now we know who's where, and I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I'm very disappointed Karis LeVert is out as a net. I'm a huge Karis LeVert fan. I'm one of the people that pick him up every year in my fantasy basketball year over the last 2 years. I don't know how I ended up with him his rookie year. He balled out towards the end of the year, and I picked him up last year. So I'm a big Karis LeVert fan. I hate that he's not gonna have opportunity to make a run at that ring, at least in the near future, unless he takes that step. But Kevin. This Brooklyn Nets team has a first-year head coach in Steve Nash. So now you have literally in one breath a gift and a curse handed to you, right? You got Kyrie Irving, who's worth $33 million this season in your salary cap, but now you've been given a ball-dependent guard in James Harden. So how does this work? How does Steve Nash rail all this in?
And don't forget Mike D'Antoni is assistant coach too. By the way.
Yeah.
I'm saying that Harden, Mike D'Antoni is.
I like it. It's good points. I give you points for that, Serge. I agree. That's a good data point. So, Kevin, how do you manage this? How do you bring this together, and how do you turn this into a championship team?
Well, first of all, you got to get Kyrie there. That's the first step. I mean, it's only one basketball, and like you said, all 3 of these guys, they need the ball. KD is the best defender out of all 3. Can we all agree on that?
Yeah, easily. Not even a question.
And B. Jones, you and I talked off air. I'm getting tired of it too. And I know
I'm about to rant.
Listen, I would be a hypocrite if I didn't call out LeBron because he got AD and he wanted Kawhi to come there. And if you watch the show, then you know LeBron is my favorite player. This is killing the league. We don't have a competitive balance. If everybody's going to go for one team, how about we just do this? Everybody just go to the Nets. Everybody's go to the Lakers. Let's play a 20-game series. Let's just do things like that.
And, bro, you read my mind. I was like, why don't we just create an all-star game weekend and let's just have a tournament every weekend and you just let everybody play everybody because
every week so everybody can get a ring.
Looking at the metrics on this thing, I was trying to go through the East, and like I said, I hadn't switched over into basketball mode yet, but I was trying to go through the East, and I was like, what teams could even play with this Brooklyn team in a 7-game series? I give the Sixers maybe 1 win, maybe 2 wins. I give the Bucks 1 win. I just Celtics, I give 2 wins. I think they have enough talent to where they can snatch 2 wins, but Who outside of these teams? Give me the team that's even remotely competitive to come out of the East to even lay claim at challenging for the Eastern Conference Championship.
You really think that just because these 3 guys are together, because you do have to take into consideration what they've also lost in the trade as well. I think you're missing kind of the point is, like, even if you look at Golden State, yeah, Kevin Durant basically went and added himself into the team that's already constructed. They didn't have to give up nobody to get Kevin Durant. It was basically he was a free agent, and because Steph Curry was taking less money, they put him on the team. They already had Iguodala, Draymond Green, Klay Thompson, Steph Curry, and you still had your bench with Livingston, Matt Barnes, and all these guys were still there. David West, those guys were still there. But you're talking about, hey, I got Harden, but in return, I already lost Dinwiddie to the injury because if Dinwiddie was still hurt, he would have been part of this trade too. So either way, you would have lost him. So he's not playing this season. Karis LeVert is gone. He was your, essentially your third
change up. Yeah, he was your change up.
And he was the 6th man of the year candidate. And then you also lost your starting center, which is Jared Allen, who's offensively and defensively an anchor for you. So you lost all of that in to get this one person in. So it's a completely different type of trade than it is just like back in Miami when LeBron went to Miami. They didn't have to get rid of people to get LeBron. They signed LeBron, they signed Bosh, and they filter out the team with the role players. You don't have a training camp to go through. You didn't get him in the offseason. You get him in 10, 12 games of the season. You look at James Harden, he didn't come into the season in shape, right? You don't know the situation about Kyrie. Obviously, we're all thinking hypothetical. If Kyrie comes back, he's not going to leave, concentrated, these guys are healthy. I'm still trying to figure out how all these guys are willing to change their game up. And I don't think Kevin Durant really has to change his game because he's a selfless player. Just like when he went to Golden State, he can. Kyrie, he's used to playing off the ball because he used to play with LeBron. But when you add a third person like James Harden, who's a ball dominant guard for 8 consecutive years, won an MVP playing a certain style, who doesn't play defense, who doesn't play off the ball, how is he going to? He's going to be the one that has to make the ultimate sacrifice.
Yeah, I was going to say this.
I haven't seen him doing it. Even when he was the man, when he makes it to the playoffs, he's flamed out against the Warriors twice, flamed out against the Spurs, had 13 turnovers in a playoff game, which is like an NBA record. And, a couple of years ago when they went against the Warriors and they were 0 for 27 from the 3, because that's all he knows. That's, and he's a big cog of that. That's the downside of also having D'Antoni as the assistant coach, because you're just thinking like, hey, let's trade whoever we need to. Let's get James over here. We'll make it work. Yeah, it sounds great on paper. It sounds great on NBA 2K, but you still got to get on the court and actually play. And I don't see how, at least immediately, how it works and glues and fits together because of the ball dominance that all 3 players. James Harden, number 1, and he's not the best player on the team.
Well, I'll say this. First and foremost, we can exclude Kyrie for the meantime. So we don't even know if Kyrie will ever shoot another shot as a net. I personally feel or as a basketball player. I think his focus is all gone. He could be doing something totally. Uncle Larry, what was it? Uncle Drew? Uncle Drew got other stuff going on that we don't know where he's going to actually fit in the puzzle. But this is what I'm going to say in defense of what you said, Serge. And you are 100% correct. They don't have every single tool, but they have the ultimate weapon, and that's called offense. And that's called undefendable offense. You got 2 players who can literally, if they want to, could drop 45 or 50, and then people say, well, they need more balls. No, they don't. Hey, Kevin Durant, go down and do your thing. Next possession, James Harden, go down and do your thing. You take turns, you figure it out. Whoever's feeling the hot hand, you let them do what they want to do, because I guarantee the NBA is now set up for teams to score 140 points to 120. And at the end of the day, and people talking about defensive liability, yeah, but they'll shoot your eyeballs out. We'll give you 125 points because we're going to score 140. And both of those guys, along with some other pieces, NBA is one of those few leagues. Cynthia's an Alabama fan, and you know what? Alabama goes out, they get the best 25 players in the nation every year at their specific positions. And for that, Bama is going to be tough to beat. And it's almost an expectation when you have the best players that you should win the games. All right? And out of all the sports, I cannot think of any other sport that one player can be so pivotal. NBA has that kind of capabilities. One player can make or break a team, whereas in baseball, even soccer and football, one player doesn't. So guess what? Kevin Durant is that good. He's the number 1 player in the NBA. James Harden is arguably number 5th or 6th in the NBA. The only team that can combat that, and that's not even including Kyrie, the only team that can combat that right now is LeBron and AD, which has the number 2 best player in the league, or number 1, arguably, wherever you want to put LeBron, and then you can put AD in number 3 or 4 in the league right now, maybe behind a Giannis or before a Giannis, but before a Luka. So,
but what Serge was saying too, James Harden is the one that has to change his game because Kevin Durant has 2 rings, 2 MVPs.
James Harden gonna get you 24 from the free throw line.
Let me finish. Kyrie, he has a ring. They're proven. You need to come in and get with the program. You're coming to their team now. And what they could do, Steve Nash could do this. We start all 3. We let KD go to the bench. We let James Harden cook. We let him go to the bench. Kyrie, you get yours. You can just rotate them out. And in the 4th quarter, how are you going to stop all 3 of them at one time?
Yeah, to me, this thing is going to be nuts.
I think because I just don't see, if Kyrie's not there, then this is not even a really even a conversation. If Kyrie is there, for me, I feel like when he signed with Brooklyn and he knew him and KD were coming together, it was like, we are going to go get this championship. Because look at the roster that Brooklyn has made with LeVert, Allen, and Dinwiddie, and all Joe Harris and all these guys. We have pieces that we already need in order to win a championship, okay? Now, you take a whole bunch of those pieces out, and came here to be the second guy, damn near the number one guy, and now you're pretty much telling me, I'm definitely going to be the third guy. I didn't sign up for that, and we lose all these other pieces. Like, that's not the way even if he didn't have those issues going on. Because I feel like if they knew before the season started, James Harden wanted to be traded because obviously him and KD are boys. He said, I want to go to Brooklyn, Philly. That's first. When that didn't happen, he started naming other teams. But Brooklyn and Philly were always first on the list for obvious reasons. If Kyrie and KD got together, like, hey, man, James wants to come here. Let's go ahead and talk to management, and let's tell them, like, hey, make this happen. And they would have done it right then and there. They would have traded Dinwiddie, LeVert, clearly, and Allen to get it done. But I don't think those guys wanted to go ahead and make that move because Kyrie was probably like, nah, man, we could do this because we need bench. We need a depth. Those guys know how important it is. Because if you remember when the Rockets played the Warriors that year with the healthy Kevin Durant, if it wasn't for that Game 6 where they shot 0 for 27, the Rockets could have beat them. And if Chris Paul doesn't get hurt, the Rockets had a chance to beat a Warriors team with Kevin Durant. It's possible, right? So it's because it comes down to chemistry. I just don't see how the chemistry, along with James Harden going from taking 20 to 25 shots a game to now taking 15 to 17, and some nights taking 10 to 12 shots a game, and standing around. That's like you guys have to like picture it in your head. Like, how do you see James Harden playing as on certain nights the third best player, and on most nights the second best player, when he's used to being the best player every single night for 8 years straight, and it's not like he's on the downside of his prime.
Well, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna give James Harden a little bit more credit than y'all are giving him. I think the media has tacked this diva-ish, kind of selfish attitude along with James Harden. And honestly, outside of him being a strip club junkie in the city of Houston, I have never heard James Harden say anything to the effect of, give me the rock. I gotta have a shot. I'm the guy. You know what? If anything, I've seen Kyrie have more of a diva attitude than James Harden. I think James Harden is going to get in where he fit in because he truly sees an opportunity to get back with Kevin Durant. He knows what he's walking into, and he knows the opportunity he's walking into it. The same East that LeBron dominated for 16 years or 15 years, it's the same East now that Kevin Durant and James Harden have the opportunity to dominate. So I don't think you're gonna have all of these issues. And like you just mentioned, you dropped the D'Antoni bomb on us. You already know they're gonna figure out a way to get James Harden rolling in the offense and make that chemistry happen.
James Harden is a beast during the regular season, because if you think about it, every time something happened with the Rockets, it was always somebody else's fault. Dwight Howard. Oh, it's not James Harden. Dwight Howard put this tandem together. All right, one of the great duos in the league. All right, Dwight Howard chose to leave the Lakers to come join them in the Rockets. Okay, it's Dwight Howard's fault. All right, we get Chris Paul. After 2 years, it's Chris Paul's fault. We get Russell Westbrook, one of my homies that I grew up with.
Oh. But Serge, wait a minute. We thought we
lost the playoffs last year against the Lakers. You see, they almost lost to the Thunder in the first round. Don't even get me wrong. It started with that. What I'm saying is, it's so easy to play against, just like Giannis. You play great in the regular season, but we know how you play in the playoffs. We get to keep playing you over and over again. We just trap, get the ball out of your hand, make somebody else beat you. The guys who are on his team, PJ Tucker, Eric Gordon, these guys during the regular season, they hardly ever get the ball. They're all standing around waiting for James Harden to give them the ball when he gets double and triple team. When the playoff comes, now we actually got to go and actually try to go hoop. And we can't, because we're not used to that. And so we end up losing games, especially if the other team is better. And so James Harden, who's, I think in isolation, he's been in the top 3 in the league for the last 7 years. So for him to now all of a sudden change his game completely, of course he's going to do some kind of sacrifice, and I think he understands that. But I got to see you to believe it.
I agree with you, but I'm gonna say this: what you did,
it doesn't make a difference.
You named off some good players, but you didn't name out Kevin Durant, and he didn't have Kevin Durant on the side, which it demands attention. Defenses have to plan for Kevin Durant coming down and pulling up and hurting you, and he can hurt you. You ain't seen Harden have to play in a situation where he can say, you know what? I don't have that shot. It's not in me tonight. It's not falling. You can get that game over to Kevin Durant and let the DC sniper take you home. He don't have to be that guy. He don't have to be that guy no more, Serge. I'm just saying, I get what you're saying. Hey, for the last 8 years, he has been the man. But at the end of the day, he won't be the man. He already know he's going to be the second best player on the team. And I think he's going to embrace that role.
All right.
I want to give a shout out to Callie J, KD, and Cynthia. They are going at it in the comments. Hey, keep it up.
All right, that's what's up.
All right, so Kev, I'm gonna leave you with the last word, man. Can Kyrie bounce back? Where does he play into this situation? What happens to Uncle Drew going forward?
All right, B. Jones, when you sign a multi-million-dollar contract and you skip games to go to a party, I mean, it's not okay, especially during a pandemic, because you're not thinking about your teammates, your coaches. You're thinking about yourself, and that's the problem. This is a guy. He's in his own world, and if you're not on the same flat planet that he's on, then he doesn't care. So I was hoping that the Nets would get rid of him now that they found, like, they got James Harden. Now you can't trust him, because now you're making KD look bad because you guys were a package deal. KD came to Brooklyn because, hey, Kyrie and I want to play together. And Brooklyn's like, okay. So now you're letting your boy down. Y'all supposed to be besties and best friends. But you're out here at a birthday party without a mask on. I understand it's your sister, but show up and ball, man. It's called professionalism. It's called professionalism.
I agree on that, Kevin. But at come a point, get a man a COVID test, run the little thing across his forehead, and even see if he got a fever. I think we prosecute the dude for what the imagery of the entire situation. And it's fair. It's fair. He was stupid for getting caught on camera with it. But all this other stuff that he's sitting out for. Criminal justice reform, for Breonna Taylor, for the riots. I have no issue with him if he feels like that's what he need to do. I know Serge earlier in the chat group during the week, you were saying that you would have done something different, maybe color sneakers or something, or kneel to have more of a protest, active protest. But I'm to a point to where I'm almost getting disengaged. I've been watching CNN and C-SPAN and Fox News more than I've been watching ESPN over the last couple of days because January the 6th was just that big. So I have no problem with Kyrie willing to forego. Let's not forget, Sports Life Talk Nation, $400,000 a game. I think that's what they said. He's being penalized for not playing in these games.
Yeah, and he's my favorite player still. So obviously, I'm going to take his side on everything. And I love the fact that I even sent him a message on Instagram and said, I love the fact that you're setting it for what you believe in. My personal opinion is, we all have jobs, we all get paid to do a job. If we weren't going to be at work, we let our bosses know. And I think it's being a professional. Just let your team know, like, hey, I need 2 weeks. I won't be back. You won't hear from me in 2 weeks. I just got to figure some things out, and just tell them. But the whole, like, why the media had to step in and start guessing, then starting rumors and all this stuff, that doesn't need to be there. If you want to stand up for social justice reform, you want to stand up for all that, great. More power to you. But just communicate and just let the organization know, not the day of the team, a game, you text your teammates and like, hey, I'm not going to be there. The coach doesn't know. The GM doesn't know. Your essentially your boss doesn't know.
Right.
And you're even coming back. 1 week, when you take a vacation, you got to put in a week vacation notice or whatever it is. Even if you don't get it approved, like, hey, I'm going to take off. Okay, that's cool. But I just think that professionalism side, that he just needs to be upfront and and just be honest about it and just say what it is. And if you're going through something more than that, also talk about it. I think even if it wasn't for COVID, if you're sitting out the way he is, it still would have been a bad look to be caught on camera at a club.
Right, I agree.
It just makes it that much worse, not because it's COVID, it's because there's a protocol already set. James Harden already had to go through the same thing at the beginning of the season. He had to sit out games in quarantine. He's going to have to do the same thing. So it's like, and you're the vice president of the NBA Players Association. That's not a good look. You don't come off as a leader. So, and now if I think KT said Brooklyn should trade him. Who wants him? Because they don't know what they're going to get.
I know.
The Pelicans want him. Hey,
what?
The Pelicans want him. I'll go take out this Nets. I'll take off this Nets edition to go put that Pelicans edition on real quick.
Watch the ball or something, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know what the package would be. I'm just messing with you. You say you don't know who won.
One last
Kyrie with Zion and Brandon Ingram would be a nice. Hey,
that would be sick. One last thought on that though. If it was about Breonna Taylor, like he said, he wouldn't have played this season. So I think
I I agree.
Touche.
All right, man. All right, so Serge, you got 3 minutes, man. Take us through the power surge, bro. Let's have a little fun.
Power surge, man. It's hurt so good, but it hurts so bad to have to say it again for another week.
No, I didn't.
Week.
Nah, Scoop Johnson.
won.
Scoop Johnson won it.
Are we going on technicalities over here?
No, he won it straight up. This week it was Lamar.
Oh, that's right. Lamar Jackson was the one because you had two guys who didn't end up giving you.
I had three guys, man. I had three guys that just went out there and laid down.
So we break the mold and we give it back to one of the regulars. Scoop.
It's the second time, two-time champion Scoop.
Congratulations to Scoop on winning the last week's fantasy football week, and then this week we have Bad Mother Tucker in honor of kicker Jason Tucker. We have fantasy football for this week, and so this week I'm going to do something a little different rather than actually talking about individual players because I think we've narrowed it down to so much. You can pretty much pick anybody. You probably do well in your weekly fantasy league or whatnot. But I just want to go around and just us three to kind of figure out on the 4 games that we have this weekend. Who do you guys have winning this weekend?
What we putting up for it? So the best out of 4, right? What we gambling, guys? We got to put something on this. Y'all want to do a pizza?
I put 5 on it.
Kev, you got it?
I'm already in the hole, but you know what? Yeah, let's do it.
All right, it's a nick each. All right, let's go. So go, Kev.
Bills and Ravens. Who you got, B. Jones?
I'm going Bills.
Okay, KT.
I'm going with the Bills too.
All right, we have a.
Who you got, Serge?
We have a sweep. I got the Bills.
All right, so now it's the best out of 3. Come on.
All right, we got the Chiefs versus the Browns. B. Jones.
Chiefs. I got to go Chiefs Kingdom.
We might well go ahead and just cancel this bet.
No, it's gonna be some games. Come on.
I'm telling Baker Mayfield to sign over all your contracts with Progressive and give it to Patrick Mahomes because he's taking over and State Farm and Progressive at the same time. Packers versus Rams. KT, who you got?
Packers.
I got Packers.
B. Jones, you gonna come back? His money on the line now, so
he's going with the other.
I'm going upset. I'm gonna tell you why. We just got finished dogging out James Harden. We say they defensive liabilities. I saw last week a defense that can control a game, and if they can figure out a way.
Remember, Aaron Donald's hurt.
Oh, is he hurt? I thought they said he was gonna play.
Yeah,
well, you know what? I may change it. If they right now, if I get 100%, well, I ain't gonna say 100% because I don't think anybody in week 18 of the NFL season. Yeah, if Aaron Donald's healthy, I think that defense can do enough to cause fits for Aaron Rodgers. We've seen that Green Bay team go to sleep at times and take teams for light. I don't know, something about this road in the NFL. I'm gonna go Rams right now in a low scoring 24-18, 24-17, something like that.
I'm excited to see Jalen Ramsey, Devontae Adams.
I'm telling you, that defense is real. Defense is real.
Adams though, like that. No.
I feel like for me, the only reservation and why I would have even gone with the Rams too is only because even though they played really good this season, I never trust the Packers defense. I just can't.
That's another thing. Packers lack in the playoffs, man. That's all I'm saying.
I know Jared Goff is hurt, and they got rookie running back Cam Akers, and
who was a beast.
Cooper Kupp is banged up too, but it's like, man, it's just something about those Packers. But in Aaron Rodgers, I trust. MVP, I trust.
Okay.
And last but not least, this is probably where I think we'll have some conversations. Saints, Buccaneers.
Who that? Who that said they gonna beat my Saints? I'm going Saints, baby. I'm going Saints by double digit.
Oh.
I want to go. Buccaneers so bad because it's hard to beat a team 3 times in a season.
It's really not. In the Super Bowl era, they teams that have had to beat the other team, played the other team 3 times and swept them in the regular season are 14-7. So you at what is that 750% chance
You know
It's
what?
700%, 750% win percentage. Oh, 66. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Guess what? The hell with the Saints. I'm going Bucks. And that's just off GP.
Hey, I take Cash App.
I'm actually going to go with the Buccaneers too.
I'm going to take y'all money.
As much as I don't want to, I'm going to have to go with the Buccaneers. I do believe that it is really difficult. And I mean, this is where I also know that unfortunately, I've seen it for too many years when Peyton Manning was playing. This is where Tom Brady does Tom Brady things. And
well, he did it with the Patriots. Saints got a real defense.
I'm not worried about the Buccaneers offense as much as I am the Buccaneers defense, where the Saints can obviously exploit them. But I just think that it's going to be a nip and tuck game. I know the line on the game is the Saints -3. So I'll take the +3, and I'll still take the win on the Buccaneers. So
yeah, B. Jones, my sports hate for LSU and the Saints and you as my rival. No way in hell I'm going to root for the Saints to win this game.
Hey, it's okay. I got a little bread coming. $10 coming my way.
Me and K2 take all the same 4 teams. You take 2 different teams. So
I'm going to ask my wife, does she want some Jersey Mikes once I get those Cash Apps in, man?
Well, you're going to get everything in pennies. I'm sending it in the mail in a box from pennies.
All right, cool, man. You know what, KD? We're not going to ruin your drop this week. We miss you. But I will say this: you put one song on the drop, Jasmine Sullivan, "Hotels." I've had the privilege of listening to it with my wife. Hey, Jasmine Sullivan got it going on. All the fellas out there, if you can muster up that type of energy, it's a different type of energy, though. It's definitely a different type of energy. I definitely would tell you to go listen to that, especially if you're riding around with your wife or your girl. And I'll let her go through some of these other tracks. As far as the drop this week, Kevin, you can show it. I'm going to be really quick with these shoes in honor of the man of the hour, Kyrie Irving. That's right. We got the Ray Guns, the Kyrie 7s. They're dropping on 1/15. So keep in mind, 1/15 is Friday. This is not a Saturday release. It is a Friday release. These shoes will be retailing at $130. I thought these shoes had a cool story behind them because basically a campaign back in 2002, Nike created this fictitious basketball team called the Roswell Ray Guns. Kyrie, back in 2008, decided to kind of take over that team, and he released a shoe that was a Nike SB Dunk edition that just popped. It was made in limited resources, and that shoe right now is currently worth $3,000 on the secondary market. So I give you guys this drop to get you some good shoes and some swag, but hey, these are also could be potentially some investment sneakers. Now, this is not going to be a drop that is going to be at the foot site, so I definitely would probably go try to take a look. This shoe could have an insane resale value on it. If you can look very closely, there's a little image of an alien on the front right there at the front of the laces. There's also another image of the alien shooting some ray guns on the back. It's not a pretty shoe. I'm not in love with the shoe, but you know, Kyrie has them. There's a long story behind Kyrie, how he designed his shoes, and it's built off of Kyrie's ability to cut and his athleticism and stuff like that. So if you're a Kyrie fan, basketball sneaker fan, definitely get them. But if you're a sneaker aficionado, you may want to get a pair of investment sneakers. Here you go, $130 entry price. Just ain't bad to me. So
right. Those being don't show up to work. Don't get none of those shoes, y'all.
All right, Kev. So do you want to say the mad? Let's do it.
No,
man.
no. You get me on my coach's groove, man.
Oh man, dude, you got to remember this is not my thing. I'm so sorry. Coach's groove, Kev. Who we got?
I want to go with Nothing But a G Thing by Dr. Dre, but I did Explosive last week, so I'm going a different route. So if you watch the Wayans Brothers, then you may have heard this song. It's called When Your Love Goes Bang Bang by John Witherspoon.
I know.
Rest in peace to Pops. Go to YouTube and check it out. When Your Love Goes Bang Bang Bang.
All right. I know he used to kill it. He used to kill it on Boomerang. You remember on Boomerang? He said that bang, 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 bang. Yeah.
He got a little song that was on the show, man.
Yeah, that looks like one of Marcus's girls. All right. All right. Movie. Kev, you got so you let's touch on this. I thought something happened on Sunday that we all immediately went to tweeting each other and texting each other. It's after Marcus Peters intercepted Ryan Tannehill pass in the fourth quarter to seal the game. It looked like what could have been anywhere between 15 to 20 Ravens on the middle of the field, stomping on the middle of the logo. So the man asking question of the week, and we got to run through it quick, fellas, because we just hit the hour mark. What is the most disrespectful thing you have seen someone do in sports?
Man,
Kevin, you go.
So real quick, I'm just gonna go with Iverson stepping over Tyronn Lue.
Ooh.
I mean, for me, I'm always gonna remember T.O. against the Cowboys on the Star. That's and I think he did it twice, and it was the second time that I believe it was Roy Williams that came in.
George Steve.
George Steve came and hit him, right? So yes, I do believe because obviously in hindsight, he obviously ended up playing for the Cowboys. But when he was a rival on the 49ers, which was at that time, 49ers were probably still, as outside of the Packers, their biggest rival outside of their own division. So I'm going to go with the T.O. on the Star. At the old Cowboy Stadium, too, by the way.
So I got two of them. And the first one is going to be Juju Smith-Schuster, who was embarrassed and who has become a nationwide meme, going out on the middle logo dancing before every single game. I'm not sure why he's not dancing after the game, but he literally gives every single locker room that extra motivation they need to come out there and put him on his ass. But the most disrespectful thing I seen wasn't disrespectful like taunting. It was the Clemson defensive lineman reaching between another player's leg during a fumble and grabbing his crotch. Did y'all ever see that?
No.
Yeah, was it Lawrence? I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that dude went first round too.
The splits and all that crap. I know
the dude doing the split. Yeah, he put his hands between another player's leg and smeared it across his sack. And I just didn't understand. To me, that was extraordinarily disrespectful.
Now, I want to say this, though. I love what the Patriots and Tigers are doing because we need that hate in sports. As long as it stays on the field, it doesn't go off. We need that, man. It's too many cupcakes out there. Hey, man, let me shake your hand. Let's play some ball, man.
Man, but I hate Marcus Peters. I ain't even gonna lie, y'all. Hey, I think Marcus Peters might be the only professional athlete that I might run a square up on. I kind of want to do Marcus Peters something. I tweet it out. Show it to the world. Let them know I see him in them streets.
Hey, we'll be there to get Marcus Peters off you. So let's go. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
Hey, for that, I'm not gonna pull Nate Robinson off of you when you do your thing versus Nate. Now,
oh, come on, man. I can take Nate. Come on, let's go.
All right, man. Did you have an uncut gym? We gonna do an uncut gym. We gonna.
No, let's go get to this.
All right, yeah, let's go to it. The Yeet of the Week. Brought to you by B. Jones, the Mouth of the South, my favorite part of the show. I get to take time out and honor some extraordinary, exemplary action that has taken place on and off the field. This week, even though we are not a political show, we saw horrific violence take place at our nation's capital on January the 6th. The unsung hero amongst all of these travesty, all of the pain, 5 people lost their lives, but one man stood out in awe. And his name was Eugene Goodman. Let me tell you what makes Eugene Goodman yeet worthy. When I initially saw the videos on repeat 1,000 times last week, I thought Eugene was actually running from the fray. Come to find out, psychologists and individuals who are experts, that was a strategic tactic that Eugene did in order to lure the mob away from the sitting Congress, which was one door away, the Senate, which was one door away, and keep those people safe. Eugene, in fear of a white mob, an African-American male, looked them in their eyes, pulled out his baton, and kept luring them away to a point that we ran up to the second floor and prevented lives which could have been taken. One individual, turns out, had a semi-automatic AK on him at the time, and another individual had zip ties. So the whole ultimate goal where they were taken prisoners and lives could have been lost. And Eugene Goodman, through your bravery, I don't even think the gentleman had a gun on him, through your quick intuitiveness, your ability to face odds, a white angry mob coming at you, you, my friend, you deserve a yeet. Oh man, it's over, Kev. Oh man.
Cave edition.
Man, what we talked about some Kyrie, we talked about some Nick Saban, we talked about G Thang himself, HBCU's finest. Coach Eddie Robinson. Man, we need. I'm about to shed a tear, man. So I'm gonna miss y'all. We'll see you guys in another week. Thank y'all for tuning in to another episode of Sports Life Talk. With life without sports is nothing but talk. We appreciate your time. Remember, go tell a friend to tell a friend, and watch the replay. We'll have this show posted up here in the next couple of minutes, and you can share it with your friends and your family so we can continue the momentum and to grow the show. We love y'all. We'll see y'all on the other side. Yeet!
Lil' baby say I'm fly, she see me. I know I got a giant in the drip, but I double cause I'm tired of the vibe, she clingy. And I don't play around with the wrist, when I get it, you already know the vibe is VV's. I swear I feel alive when I'm in the yo into the AM, making vibes on repeat. And I ain't gotta lie, you see these. She said she wanna vibe, she need 3. Each one for my boys, my teamies. Swimming through the riches with my squad, believe me. Iced out Audemars, Philippe's. Big dogs, cause a gin, know I'm 8. Cook and let them know I'm different raw with the apron. Do this for my sons, I know it's mine for the taking. Lil' baby, look like she the type that be playing. Slide and I skate this. She done me probably thinking who this. Yeah, money now it's funny how I see the mood switch. But boy named girl funny how the two mix. So I got them uptight, now they got the loose lips.